Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Each episode, you'll dive into conversations with top entrepreneurs, visionaries, and business leaders, unlocking the secrets to building profitable relationships that drive growth and success. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, presented by LeDuc Entertainment. Today, we are joined by Lorena Rivas, the owner and managing attorney of Rivas Associates. Lorena, welcome to the show.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it. I look forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Can we start off? Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Rivas Associates?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm an attorney from Oklahoma. I'm a born and raised Okie. Sooner born and sooner bred. And Rivas Associates is my law firm. Our primary location is in Tulsa, where I actually went to law school here, and then I just started my law firm here. Been around for now 10 years, a little more than 10 years. And our primary focus is immigration law. So I have an office here in Tulsa and then an office in Oklahoma City, but we serve and help clients, immigrant clients, all over the United States. So we started very small. I was a solo. I did everything myself. And then 2020 is when the boom really started. We have grown to be one of the fastest growing companies by Inc. 5000. And my staff right now is about over 130 people. So we've grown a lot rapidly. We have scaled definitely in the last 5 years. So we've been fortunate enough to be able to help more and more people all over the United States.
Well, you mentioned you were one of Inc. 5000's fastest growing companies, but you're also 31st in the Southwest. Is that correct?
That was correct. We did get chosen for that in 2023. I did not reapply in 2024. I could have, but I was just like, I did it for 1 year. I'll maybe try it again. But I was like, I'm not sure how much movement I will have from the previous year. But we definitely were in 31st in the Southwest region, and then overall Inc. 5000. And then I was one of founding women, founding females. That's what it is. Also for Inc. 5000, which is a great opportunity, to be able to see where you match up with some really, really top notch females in the United States.
That is absolutely incredible. And can you tell me a little bit about the people that come to Rivas and Associates? What are some of the problems and pain points? What are some of the things you're helping them solve?
Yeah, so I'm first generation Mexican American. I've been very familiar with the immigration situation and the will and the desire to reach the American dream and be able to build, what the United States is about, like the opportunities here. Like I said, I was born here in Oklahoma, so I had the privilege of not having to deal with the immigration issues, but my parents migrated in the 70s, and they were, thanks to President Reagan and amnesty, allowed to remain in the United States as lawful permanent residents. So I've been very blessed. But at the same time, because I'm only one generation away from having to deal with coming into a foreign country and trying to belong here and remain, those are the pain points. And that's how I relate to our clients. We serve immigrants all over the United States, but the most of them are from Oklahoma, just because we're physically located here. And this is where my name has been. It's easier. It's heard more. My brand is heavier here in Oklahoma.
Right.
Our primary clients are Spanish speaking. We are a heavy Spanish speaking. Latino clients, Hispanic clients. Those are more of, I'm more connection with them, although we serve from any country, but those are the ones that we seem to just connect better. Like I said, just being able to speak their language is great. But the pain points, they come to us because, one, obviously they have no status here in the United States. They're trying to migrate into the United States through the complex immigration legal system. But they're here in the United States without status, without work authorization, without social security number, with that constant fear of, especially now during the Trump administration, started January. Now it's the fear of, being deported, being separated from their family, being separated from their home that they've been here, 30 years or so. So those are the pains and the fears that the clients come to us, and we review their case and we try to find a legal solution for them and give them that kind of hope that the United States is their home.
And can we dive in a little bit more? Can you share with me kind of how that personal background of being a first generation Mexican American has influenced your advocacy for your clients?
Yeah. So being my background, I realized that one, I can speak their language and my staff speaks their language, and just being able to talk to them in their language and explain it to them in their terms,
Right.
that already makes a world of difference. And when I say explain it to them, I'm not throwing legalese Spanish in them, because most of my clients are working class. They're here doing, manual labor jobs, working the fields, mowing the yards, constructing our homes and our roads. So maybe their education is not the highest level. So, but I really break it down to them in the language and the words that they understand. So that's the first connection I have with them. But second, it is my background. So when they say, we can't go back to our country, I understand why, because my parents obviously came to the United States and they settled here. They didn't just come here temporarily. They settled here and raised all their kids here and built their life here. So that's one thing. And then the misinformation fears out there that constantly resonate, I can keep track of it and I can clear that all up. But when I see a client come to me, many times I see my dad, I see my mom, I see my aunt, because they've had to go through that immigration system and they have those same fears. Well, my parents have been legal since the 70s. I've had aunts and uncles and cousins who have not, and maybe had to do the arduous journey of crossing the border, of walking the miles, of swimming across the river. And regardless of whether you think that's right or wrong, it's what happens. And it's not an easy decision to make. So I understand why people do that. And I can resonate with them, and I can provide that clarity and that peace that alleviates their fears and their worries.
Right. And I mean, this might be a kind of a bit of a different question, but I'm curious, being kind of that closely tied to the issue itself, do you find it difficult to sort of separate business and work at the end of the day, to say this, I got to put this and compartmentalize this over here, or does it stay with you?
It stays with me. It's my mission. It's my mission, a mission of Rivas Associates, to empower immigrants and build futures. And that's kind of my life mission as well. I mean, this is my company. So the mission of the company is based on what my desires are. And my vision is that we're going to have, 1 million immigrants with lives changed. And it is, so it doesn't just stay here at the office. It goes with me, especially now during this current political climate, which is very anti-immigrant. So anywhere you go, anybody goes, it's about immigration. So I can't separate it. And it's part of me. Obviously, what I do, the firm I have, it's a starter of conversations, and it's a start to bring some real life knowledge about the immigration system and the immigration laws, which frankly, most Americans have no idea. They simplify it. They think it's either you broke the law, you're a criminal by coming over here, or why don't you come over here the legal way, instead of them knowing that the legal way is broken and we're in desperate need of immigration reform. So no, it now is very encompassing. There's no separation. It's in every minute of my day do I feel the pressures of immigration.
Now, this is going to be a two-part question, and it's going to be a big loaded question, so I apologize for that. But can we talk a little bit about, first off, some of the issues? You mentioned that the system is broken. What are some of the what needs to happen to fix it, is my first question. And then my second question is a two-parter. My second question is, what changes has the current administration brought, and how are you dealing with them?
Yeah. So first off, what changes need to happen? So I think most people are under the wrong impression that immigrants are trying to migrate over here illegally, or that they haven't tried to do it the legal way. That's false. A lot of them are trying to do it the legal way, but the problem is the line to get into in the United States is extremely long. Yes, you might have a family member who's petitioning for you, and that's a legal process. But for example, if I'm a U.S. citizen and I'm trying to bring my sibling, my brother, to the United States, and they live in Mexico, it's about a 25-year wait for them to be able to get to the front of the line to be able to cross lawfully. So that's one thing that needs to be improved. The visa numbers need to be increased because there is people trying to come lawfully, and maybe because they're, 25 years wait, that's a lifetime. And if you're living in a war-torn country or, living without any options or opportunities, then, maybe coming over to the United States illegally seems like the only option or the best option instead of waiting 25 years to do the right way. So the visa number caps is what needs to be changed. That's one thing that needs to be changed. If you're from Mexico or China, you're pretty much out of luck. It's a super long wait.
Wow.
Other countries also have long waits. So nothing is really fast, I would say. The second thing is that we need to realize is that obviously these immigrants are doing jobs here, and they're doing jobs that most U.S. citizens don't want to do or not willing to pay for, or the cost of if somebody with status would have. So there is a great need for immigrant workers. And without a doubt, I think most people recognize it. And because not a week goes by when an employer doesn't try to help their good employee get status. And when I tell them, no, I'm sorry, the way for you to help them is it's not available because of the tough laws that are set in stone. So the only way you could help them is by voting for a politician to bring immigration reform. But there's definitely a need. And so there needs to be either a worker program brought in. And I know George Bush tried to bring it in, but again, it wasn't passed. There hasn't been a significant immigration reform since 1997. So it's such a long, those two little things would solve a lot of problems because yes, people are coming to the United States and some of them are trying to escape criminal activity or loss of opportunities. But if they could come and work temporarily, go back, trust me, a lot of them would not want to stay. And that's what the whole Braceros program was back in the 50s or 40s or 50s, is people would come temporarily, work, and then go back home with their earnings and provide for their family, and their family would stay behind. So it wouldn't be women and children necessarily coming. It would just be workers coming. So it's just common sense reform is needed. So, and that's definitely what the current administration is lacking right now. That yes, so obviously it's a deportation campaign going on now. They haven't deported people more than any extravagant numbers, but what they're doing is publicizing it, which is making it seem more extravagant and trying to just fearmonger amongst immigrants. But so how is it affected is one, it's the fight of misinformation that's causing me everyday anxiety. Like what else is happening or what else is being reported? The onslaught of executive orders, all this, some executive orders that are clearly unlawful on its face. But it's just a change of policy or just random acts of like violations of due process that are being done to by ICE. So it's just a constant onslaught of changes and of negativity. So fighting misinformation is number one, because our clients hear it, whether it's social media or the news, because it's just rapidly information going out there. So one is trying to get the narrative, owning the narrative of really how are things and how they still have the ability to gain status and fight for their right to stay here. So that's the first thing. But second is there is more of an increase of I say deportations, but again, it's not a larger number. They're really not going out picking up people, even though there is a threat of it, but they're doing it randomly, maybe just enough to get the press and get it on news. But I would say the war on misinformation is the number one thing we're having to fight right now. Second is, in the court system, there is, those are government employees. So they're already having to deal with the government cuts or the demands on the workforce for the government. So a lot of them are leaving. So that just means processing delays and court delays are just going to increase. So that's something we have to deal with. And then just, like I said, just little policy changes. So attorneys, whether they're going to be processing client paperwork, are going to be busy or fighting deportation cases, but even in the litigation spheres where they're also going to be really busy.
Is there anything that the average American could do to be an ally in this fight?
Well, I think just learning a little bit more about the immigration system is the number one way that someone can be an ally. Just don't be spreading more misinformation. Right. Don't be voting for politicians who spread this misinformation or support this misinformation. I mean, that's voting is very powerful. Obviously, I think, if our politicians are, and obviously I should say, I'm an immigration attorney and I support immigrants, and I've seen the injustices that are done to them. So I obviously have a leaning. Now, it's not to no specific candidate or no specific party, but right now I lean one way because I'm anti one party. That's
Right.
And it's obvious. I'm not necessarily pro-immigration. I'm not necessarily anti-immigration, but I'm pro reasonable, common sense immigration. And so I think, again, the stop and spread of misinformation, voting for politicians who are actually wanting to solve the problem and not just make a profit out of it or ride the coattails to another term in office. And then I think the other thing is there's a lot of nonprofits out there that are trying to fight the cause. Now, I'm a private attorney and my clients pay me privately, but not everybody can afford somebody like me. Not everyone has access to someone like me, but the nonprofits are really trying to fight and their funding is being cut. So I think supporting nonprofits who support immigrants is really good, whether they support them by providing immigration resources or even just some collateral resources that these immigrants may need. Like, for example, when a family member loses their provider, their financial support, because they do get picked up, then now they need financial assistance to pay for food for the children, for maybe the U.S. citizen children. So that's probably the best thing to do that as well, too. Support nonprofits that support the cause of helping immigrants.
Please forgive me and correct me if I butcher this pronunciation.
Yeah.
But can you tell me a little bit more about Colegio de Sueños?
Oh, yeah. And it's okay. Colegio de Sueños. I got you.
Colegio.
Colegio.
Of course the G is right. I got to remember my high school Spanish. Colegio de Sueños.
Yeah. So I mentioned that Rivas Associates is the law firm, but as a result of having the law firm, and I realized that, again, our mission is to empower immigrants and create their futures. So while we help people get their lawful status here in the United States and get their pathway to citizenship, we realize that sometimes the American dream doesn't just stop when they get their papers, when they get their status, green card, or U.S. citizenship. They still have other dreams, whether that is to start their own business or continue their education or have better status in the community. So that's what Colegio de Sueños kind of started with, because our clients expressed that they want to learn how to speak English and they want to get their citizenship and pass their citizenship exam. So we felt the needed to be filled because we want to be more of a holistic law firm. And so we created Colegio de Sueños, which is the education department, basically, of Rivas Associates, where we teach people second language, English. And they're small classes, but they're very individualized and we're very committed to their success. And the other one is helping them study for that citizenship exam so they pass it. So that's what it is. It's still in its infancy. We're still growing it, but it came from the need of our clients where they said, we want to learn English. We want to become U.S. citizens. We want to get better jobs. We want to start our businesses. We don't want to worry about having trouble communicating with our neighbors or our children. We want to grow. And so Colegio de Sueños, just like Rivas and Associates, is to help our clients grow.
That's incredible. And I'm curious, we've spoken a little bit about, your practice, and I want to speak a little bit about you now.
Yeah.
I mean, it really sounds like, whether Rivas and Associates or Colegio de Sueños, I hope I pronounced it better that time.
You did. Good job.
Thank you. But it sounds like you are really dedicated to just helping people. Is that something that is innate to your character, or is that something you've cultivated along the way?
Like I said, I was very blessed to be born here. I was blessed to be able to grow up in a small town where my teachers really believed in me. And, I guess selfishly, I really like to help people because it helps. I like it. It makes me feel good. But I feel it's under obligation, whether that's my Catholic guilt kicks in where I'm like, I have to help people. Sure. But it's definitely, that's what makes me happy. That's what makes me tick, helping people. And the problems I'm trying to solve is whenever I see people who need help and they're not able to be helped. So Colegio de Sueños is the first step. I'm working on getting my foundation started and a nonprofit started as well, because there's more needs out there. There's a greater need. And while there's a lot of great organizations out there filling some of these needs, there's still plenty of need. And so, yeah, I like to think I'm helping people. I definitely, I want my gravestone to say she helped people. And so, yeah.
I love that. Can you tell me a little bit more about your nonprofit and what that's going to entail?
That's good. So I'm just very much started really, like, it's been in my idea for the last 2 years, but I've never really moved on it because I'm like, I'm too busy here fixing the issues here. And as a business owner, even though I have a law firm, I'm a business owner. That's what I am now. Right. And so, once we fix one thing, there's always something else that you can fix and make better, especially as you're growing and scaling. But so my nonprofit, my foundation that Rivas Associates, we are already helping the community. We sponsor a lot of events. We have Colegio de Sueños, and we do a lot of charitable donations. But now I'm like, okay, let's actually make it itself, where Rivas Associates will fund it. The endeavors that we want to do. I have aspirations mostly to focus on empowering women and girls, immigrant women and girls, just because I think that if you empower the female in a family, that really empowers the whole family. And women are so instrumental in making sure that their children grow up and to prevent any, traumas that are happening and make sure they start off right, So that's why I really want to focus on the women. Again, nothing against men. I'm just women. I just want to empower them more, I think. And so their foundation will be heavily focused on that. And nonprofit I hope to organize, and again, this is very much an infancy, so I don't have it all down, will be about creating opportunities for women in the Tulsa area. I will start Tulsa first, just because we stand here and then expand out. Right. So offering educational classes, offering just community classes, whether it's self-defense, cooking, healthy living, those things, offering scholarships for higher education for girls, offering summer camps where we empower them and teach them leadership skills and other key things that I learned as I was growing up that many girls just don't have access to. Again, I was very blessed that I was in a really good community that gave me those opportunities. So I think that's what's going to be the focus of, very in infancy, but I should get it done by this year, and hopefully next year it'll be out and about working, and whether we start small and then just continue to grow.
Now, you said I would like to be thought of as somebody that helps people, but the Fern Holland Award for Human Rights Advocacy would certainly suggest you're doing just that. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that award and awards like it mean to you and how that helps drive your mission forward?
Yeah, so Fern Holland was an attorney who served in the armed forces, and I believe it was Afghanistan. She was out there helping females over there, learn their rights and protect them, and she was killed overseas. So Fern Holland, then the award was given out by the University of Tulsa College of Law to any female, yearly award that they feel is empowering females. And so I was given that award, and so what it meant to me was okay, I think I'm doing things right. If people are seeing me doing these things, then obviously I must be on the right path, because sometimes I worry as any person, am I doing things right? Is it showing? Is it having the results I need? So just that award and any other awards I've received out there, it just confirms that I'm doing the right things. And also it really is good. I think for people or girls who maybe look like me, who maybe have similar names as me, so they can see, oh, she did it. It's not uncommon for me to do it. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So if anything, it just brings the normalcy of be given these awards or being in the spotlight or of reaching these milestones as a feasible thing to do, because it many times, many girls are discouraged when they're like, that's not for me. I can't do that. Nobody me has done it. So I think if anything, that's what makes it feel really good to get those awards, because I know that as much as that word is awarding me, some little girl is seeing it or going to read about it, and they're going to be like, wow, she has a name that sounds like mine. or look, she looks like me. She's the same color of skin. So it's good to know that.
And, kind of in that same vein, can we talk about 95% of your employees come from diverse backgrounds? And can we talk about what that means to you and the importance of that?
Yeah. So we're very much, our law firms, we have 2 physical offices here in Tulsa, one here in Tulsa, which is our main headquarters. And then we have a small office in Oklahoma City, but about half of our workforce is international, virtual international. So they're from other countries. And it's so cool to have international staffers. One, because you get to learn these new cultures and you get to appreciate them. And I've been able to go visit them. So that's really cool. But also because that means you're providing for somebody in their country. And so they don't have to make the treacherous journey to the United States. They don't have to think they have to come over to the United States and make a living over here. They're
You okay? Grab a glass of water. I'll do the same. Cheers.
Oh my gosh.
You need to take a moment? Yeah, grab another sip of water. You okay?
Too bad this is not pre-recorded. This is live, so
I was going to say, I've done it as the host several times on the show. No worries.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry about that, but
you're okay.
My voice is coming back. So I was going to say, that intense cough.
Take all the time you need. You're good.
I was saying what's really cool is that they're able to make their American dream in their home. Yeah. They don't have to come to the United States for it. And it's not, my voice is returning. It's sitting here. So,
yeah. I was going to say, keep getting, that happens. Went down the wrong pipe.
Yes, exactly.
The worst.
And I do daily lives. And the worst is that it's happened on my lives. And my people are watching, who are probably watching this, are like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Is she choking? And it's like, no, it's fine. It's just in the wrong pipe. But
that's the worst.
The
worst.
The other thing I was going to say is that the majority of my, at least United States staff, is female. It's not intentional. It just happened to work out that way. And so their majority is female here at my firm. And I love it. And it's really cool. I've had several staffers say, hey, the reason why I chose working with you is because I saw that there were so many females, which I guess kind of leads to more and more females, but nonetheless, we're here about empowering women. So it's been great. I love it. I love giving the opportunities to people maybe who didn't. And most of my staffers really a lot of staffers don't have that much experience, but they come here and they grow with the experience. And I just love seeing them grow.
I have another quick 2-part question for you. Yeah, get some water. Make sure it goes down the right pipe this time. I have another quick 2-part question. What changes have you seen in immigration law over your 10 years of doing this? And what changes do you expect to see in the future? What challenges are you facing? What challenges do you expect to face?
Yeah. So 10 years ago, so I started during the Obama administration, and then the first Trump administration, and then Biden, and now back to the Trump administration. So what changes have I seen across of it? I think the biggest change, and I think this is just a change in the United States, is how immigration, even though it's always been a hot topic, it has really been brought to the forefront.
Right.
And not only just brought to the forefront, but it's been as a scapegoat for a lot of the problems here in the country. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, the United States is the best country in the world and I love it, but it's being blamed on immigrants. And so that has been the biggest shift. When I first started, yes, there were still deportations going on and there were still being denials, but it was not so black and white. There was still some gray, and certainly it was not, the public wasn't clamoring for things to be black and white.
Right.
So, and then it just shifted more, and obviously to our current state where it's very much if you're not doing deportations, then, then you're not doing a good job enough. And it's been a radical shift to you know, previously were, hey, we need immigrants, let's find them. We need these workers. We embrace these different cultures. We are a country of immigrants to now don't want to be a country of immigrants.
Right.
So that's been the biggest shift. And I anticipate this to continue to grow. I'd like to say that these 4 years maybe will finally get it out of our system. But I don't think so. It's just been there's been too much fuel added to that flame that I think it'll be hard. It'll continue to resonate for a while. So it just brings up more challenges. I don't anticipate there being much immigration reform happening in a really long time. As much as a certain party rules Congress with the president, I still think they're still divided themselves. And it's such a narrow margin that I don't think it's going to really go for it. It's significant immigration reform. They might pass little bills here and there. But yeah, I'm hoping that at the end of the 4 years, it's finally not only Congress, but the political people, the American people will realize, oh my gosh, we went down a path that really didn't solve anything. We still have the same problems that were being fought about. So maybe immigrants are not the problem.
Right. We have a question that just popped up in the live chat here that says, hi, Lorena, I love seeing your background with volunteering with Meals on Wheels for nearly 8 years. Can you talk about that experience?
Yeah. So when I first moved to Tulsa, I still wasn't in law school. I was getting a master's degree through through Fort Hays State University, which allowed me to do it remotely. But I was a stay-at-home mom for 3 years. And so I wanted to do some volunteer work where I could take my son. So delivering meals to the homebound was the way to do it. And so me and him would get in our cars and we deliver it. And then afterwards we continued it. And then we continued to delivering pet food. So I really, really liked it. It was something that I could do with my son. He was, 1-2 years old when we started doing it. And he would help me take the meals to the elderly or the homebound. So it was a good experience to see him also give back but also let him see how important it is to help people and your neighbors.
Absolutely. Can you share with us of all of the people that you've helped through Rivas and Associates? Can you share with us, when you think back, is there a story that really stands out of a person, an individual, or maybe a group of people that you really saw a positive transformation in, or a positive outcome for, as a result of your help and guidance?
I can tell you about a client. This client, I guess I got him around 2016 or 17. He came to me. He came to the United States as a minor. He entered as an unaccompanied minor. And when he came to me, I realized that he qualified for something called the Special Immigrant Juvenile Visa, because he had been abandoned by his father. He was from El Salvador. And so he came to me and I applied for this. And then I also had to represent him in court and get the immigration court hearings dismissed. But through the Special Immigrant Juvenile status, I was able to get him his green card, his legal permanent residence card. And so that was really happy. And he was in high school, attending high school. He later came to me and I knew he was in college. He was at the local Tulsa Community College here, which is a great school to get your fundamentals and everything. And then then I saw him afterwards, after he graduated. He came to me because he was ready to apply for U.S. citizenship. And so I helped him with the process, and he gained his status. And then he then started helping out. At that time, he was trying to help out his siblings as well, who were still left behind. But that was kind of full circle, because I saw him grow up, but also not only just grow up here, but really take advantage of the opportunities available here and to be able to give back. I mean, he was college educated, degree. I think he was studying to become a psychologist. So he wanted to help people as well. So it's kind of just full circle. And this is just one story, but I've seen a lot of them that, yes, now that they have their status, their papers, a work authorization, a social security card, ability to get a driver's license, then it's like, you know what? I can go do things that for others as well and give back. And so it's numerous times you see that. So it's I remember I was very excited because I was like, oh my gosh, it's time for your U.S. citizenship and you're ready to apply. And he passed it and he, learned, he came over. I think he was 16 years old or 15 years old, which is at that time didn't know any English, but here he had learned it and he was speaking it and he got a college degree. So it was heartwarming.
Lorena, this has been an absolutely incredible conversation. I mean, you're empowering women, empowering immigrants. Everything you're doing is absolutely fantastic and incredible. If anybody out there listening could use your help, could use the help of Rivas and Associates, where can the people find you?
Absolutely. So you can find us at the website, www.rivasassociates.com. You can also, if you're Spanish speaking, even if you're English speaking, you can find me on social media looking for Lorena Rivas, Rivas and Associates. We're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Most of my videos and content is in Spanish, but there is some English there. So that's another way to find them. And then, of course, LinkedIn as well. You can find my law firm and as well as me. So.
Lorena, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been incredible.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you guys so much there. Partnerships for Profit. I enjoyed it. Thanks.
And thank you so much, everyone, for listening. This has been Partnerships for Profit presented by LeDuc Entertainment. Lorena, thank you so much again.
Have a good one.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.